This is the 2025 Cadillac Optiq, and in this video I'm going to cover the exterior, the interior, and also go over all the specs that we know so far on this vehicle. So let's get into it. So as far as the exterior of the Optiq here, well, it's a very cool look, as you can see. Love the fun colors here. This is the sport trim we're looking at as well. There's going to be sport and luxury trims with slightly different looks, but you know, going to be mostly the same here. But you know, right up front, look at this cool daytime running light here with the LEDs that are stacked, and this grille. It has a very cool welcome animation that comes on whenever you walk up to it as well. And this is a laser etched grille for this pattern, and it's a really nice take on the Cadillac grille. You know, it's a little thinner than most others you see, you know, from Cadillac. This is kind of a new take. I think it actually looks really good, especially with these bright colors, and really make that grille pop. As far as the sizing too, that is one thing. So it's got a really long wheelbase, and you can see it's actually, they say, pretty close to the size of an XT5 and bigger than an XT4, but it's a lot lower, and you can see that with this side profile especially. Look at how this windshield is really steeply raked, and yet you still have really good interior space. They say you have segment best second row, segment best cargo space, which I'll show all that here in a minute. But you know, it's just really lean and just kind of this wedge shape, and it's a very cool look here. So look at the back end. So many cool details we'll cover here in this video. Like, for example, this is a Cadillac first process with this pattern you have here on this quarter window, and it's really cool. And also that adds a lamination effect, so you get more of a quieter interior as a result of that, but you also have the really cool look, and it kind of continues on into these taillights, which, I mean, I love that etching. They say, you know, all of these patterns are, you know, inspired by the Cadillac badge there and the design elements in that. But I love how it's a continuation there, and you know, the other lights down here at the bottom, and very cool look out back. I love the integration here of the third brake light. It's a very cool look. You have the door handles that pop out here, but even they have the little detailing there. And like the charge port door is powered. Another cool thing, it kind of goes upward, a little bit classier. It's almost like the swan doors you see on a, you know, exotic or something. You have that here for the charge port, which is cool. You got some nice big wheels here. I believe these are 21s. They'll be 20s as standard, but you know, just a really impressive look here on the outside. You also have a glass roof here. It's a fixed glass roof, and so you can see, you know, again, it's a two-tone look here with the, you know, gloss black combined with the red here on this one. But they're gonna have lots of fun colors, they say, for these. Lots of cool interior colors as well, which I'll get into in a minute. But you know, just really impressive. Before we get into the inside, I just want to go over briefly the few specs that we have here on the Optiq so far. So they'll all come with all-wheel drive as standard with a dual motor setup, and Cadillac is estimating that they'll do 300 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque, and that is the only setup that you're going to have, at least here at launch. So it runs an 85 kilowatt-hour battery that Cadillac also estimates will do 300 miles of range. We don't have peak charge rates just yet, but Cadillac does say you can add up to 79 miles of range in about 10 minutes, and that's the only specs that we really have here so far. But let's check out the inside here and see how it looks. So lots of cool stuff here. I'm gonna hop over to the other side here in a minute to show this center console a little bit better, where the lighting's better. But it's a cantilevered center console, and so many cool little touches here. Like you have this 100% recycled yarn that is woven for this fabric up here, and it's a really cool touch. They also have a bunch of different interior colors you can get. It's so good to see interior colors coming back as an option, but you can see you have some backlighting here through here, and you have this chemical etched speaker grille with these little micro holes, and it's a really cool design touch for this 19 speaker AKG stereo, which is standard, by the way. You also have heating and ventilation for the seats. This one has that now. The ventilation will be an option. There's also going to be different options as far as the patterns for the seats with the perforations and all that as well. Really nice interior up front here, and again, more of that lighting. You can see it especially here in the dark with the way that's going to light up, and it comes over to the middle here as well. And I'm going to hop over to the other side here before we briefly come back and show the other side of the driver's side. But and also here you can see the taillights doing their little dance here whenever you approach the vehicle. But coming over to this side, and I mean, you can really see now how much space you have there. It's really opened up. And also they also use a repurposed material here for all these pockets. So all of these are fuzzy, nice feeling. You know, usually this is just hard, scratchy plastic on anything else. Even in the luxury realm, you know, most don't use any kind of nice padding for this. So that is a really nice little touch there. There's a better look at that door panel as well, and the seat controls and all that. Very premium. And you know, you can see again this over here, and it's really impressive. You know, you do have a fairly big dashboard like we've seen with other Ultium GM vehicles, but in this one it's, you know, really nicely packaged with that AKG stereo and the detailing up there. But I mean, look at, like, you can see even the knurling here on the cup holders, the backlit Cadillac badge there on the controller, little volume scroller. All that stuff is so nice. And you can see we have the 33-inch 9K display here. We've seen this in other Cadillacs as well, but it's still very impressive. It's a curved setup, you know, it's all one piece here, and is just really something to behold. It's such a cool setup. And so like other new GM vehicles going forward here, though, no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It does have Google built in, so as long as the apps that you use are in the Google App Store there, you can just download those straight to the vehicle here, and you know, have all that functionality with a more baked in feel as how you know, GM is approaching this. They think it's more polished if they do it themselves with Google built in versus having that phone tethering. You know, the Lyric still has CarPlay, but for these new ones going forward, you don't have that. And you know, so that's the only thing about these, that, you know, if you're used to that, or you're an Apple user, you don't have all this stuff in the Play Store, one little adjustment you're going to have to make. And I will be living with a Blazer here, which also has that same setup, you know, soon, to you know, see how it is to live with you know, not having CarPlay. But anyway, otherwise, you know, just still really great, you know, for the fonts, and everything is really nice. And I'm not going to get too into this. I'll save that for a full review. But you know, just great. You have a row of actual buttons still, you know, with a lot of other vehicles these days ditching buttons. It's great to see some hard buttons here for all your basic controls. And you know, more backlighting here. I didn't realize there was another bin down here along with your USB-C jacks. And again, it's so cool that in the more colorful options, you can even have some coloring down here for that big console. You also have a little bit of storage up here. Pretty small bin though, but you do have a wireless charger there. Apologize about the lighting, but you know, good amount of space there. Oh, and this opens up, so there you go. You actually have another one. And I'm glad I pulled on that a little bit, so you have some extra space there. And again, very dark, but there's a good amount of space in there, which is great. Steering wheel is also very nice, same wheel you see in other Cadillacs, I believe. And also, you do have Super Cruise as standard for the first 3 years. After 3 years, it becomes a subscription, but it's great you have Super Cruise as standard. It also has a lot of other stuff like the blind zone, collision avoidance is standard, along with enhanced auto parking, forward collision alert, and there's also advanced radar cameras and ultrasonic sensors, they say, as well. So lots of stuff there working to keep you safe and helping to avoid any kind of mishaps. And now let's hop into this second row and check this out. So I mean, I love, again, just even the pattern you have here on, these are the door pulls, by the way. You pull this up to open it, but you know, you also get heated rear seats as an option in these, but a really good amount of space. So again, none of the seats are adjusted for, you know, where I would normally have them, but just to try it out anyway. You know, I mean, in this position, I got a bunch of space, and it's, again, supposed to be segment best, so that is very great to hear. And you know, great that they've done a good job utilizing the space. But you'll see more power outlets and heated seat controls there. Nice, you have little air vents as well. And also check out this glass roof. Let me get out of the vehicle so you can really get a, you know, sense of the scale. This is a huge roof. And the one really nice thing that a lot of competitors don't offer is that it does have a closing shade. So if you don't want to be having the sun beating down on you, you have the option to close it. And there you can see the start of that closing right there. But really nice that they do that, because you know, especially if you live in a place that's very sunny, you know, that gets old quick. So it's great that you have that cover. You can see more of that little lighting even here on the back doors, and more of those micro perforations that are just really nice looking. And you even have some lower there on the door. And again, all this, you know, padding and all that, it still continues onto the back. nice and soft and, you know, premium for all this stuff. By the way, the materials, it's not real leather. They've gone to a, you know, leather-free kind of surface, but it feels very soft and plush and, you know, smooth and just feels really nice. So no downgrade there whatsoever, even if it's not real leather. I think it actually feels better than some real leathers I've experienced. But anyway, hopping to the cargo area here, you open it up by pressing the Cadillac badge, and there it is. So again, segment best according to Cadillac for that cargo space. You have a little pocket there on this side. It is a good amount of space. I would say this is, you know, right in line with most, you know, gas-powered compact SUVs. And you have two different settings for the load floor here. So I believe this is the higher setting. And I think that you can also drop this down to a lower setting, yeah, if you'd like. And also a nice deep well down here. You can see there's a whole charging cable bag in there, but that goes a pretty good ways down. I mean, that goes down. I can get my almost elbow deep in there. So, I mean, it's a lot of extra space there. A nice little bonus. And so, I mean, you know, really good. You have, you know, a great amount of cargo space. You can even see more speakers back here for the 19-speaker system. And, yeah, just, of course, power close. But I'm actually really impressed with the amount of space in the back here, again, for a vehicle of this size. But for those that are curious, there is no frunk here. It's just a bunch of hardware and stuff underneath there. So no extra space up front there. But again, because you have enough space in the back there, I don't think it should be a big deal. But that is something that, you know, some other competitors do offer some extra bonus storage here. And this one just unfortunately doesn't have that. One other really unique thing that I've never seen before is another thing for the interior you can get is on the higher trims. You're having this option for this paper wood deco, they call it, and that uses repurposed newspaper. And so you can actually see some print here, and this is unique. Every single vehicle will be different. So technically, as far as the trim goes on the inside, you all have a one-of-one vehicle with every one of them having a slightly unique look for whatever, you know, repurposed newspaper they've used. And I mean, it's a really cool, you know, classy kind of look. And I mean, you know, you hear about creative ways that different companies are, you know, repurposing and recycling things or whatever to, you know, have new materials and new approaches. But this has got to be one of my favorites, I think. That is so cool. And it'd just be fun just to compare, hopping in Optiqs to see, you know, which print you got or what, you know, slight design differences you have in that trim. And yeah, I don't know, to me that is a super cool little option. But yes, that's basically the tour of the Cadillac Optiq here. The last thing to mention, though, is pricing, which actually comes in lower than I was expecting and, you know, might surprise you. So it's starting at about $54,000, they say, including destination. That's the only pricing number we have so far. So where it goes from there, I'm not sure. But, you know, a lot of the stuff is standard. That stereo is standard. You know, the roof, all these things, you know, heated seats and all these nice features. You even have a standard massage function I forgot to mention on the inside as well. It has the same kind of massage you get in the Lyriq. That is standard. So a lot of standard stuff for that $54,000 price tag, roughly. I mean, that is, you know, going to be a really solid value, I think, even if you just go for a base one and don't go for some higher trim. They also say the appearance on the outside will be basically the same. You'll have taillights that look the same, headlights that look mostly the same, aside from the fact that you will have 7 LEDs down here instead of the 9 you have here on this. These higher ones just basically do more advanced lighting, so it'll dim the light for approaching vehicles and give you a more expanded kind of high beam setup. And the lights on the base one will just glow instead of doing the choreography whenever you turn it on. But aside from that, it's still going to look the same, look just as cool, and you know, not a huge downgrade there again for that base model. So really, you know, doing a good job of having the base one be, you know, still a very, very nice vehicle, and so makes that $54,000 price tag, I think, really compelling. And as far as availability goes, Cadillac is saying that production will begin late this fall, so hopefully we'll start to see the first vehicles arriving at dealerships right around the end of the year. They didn't say how many of these they'll be able to build, but it seems like GM is getting through the Ultium bottlenecks they had previously, so hopefully they'll be able to churn these out in some pretty good numbers. But in the meantime, that's all we know about it for now. But you know, I love even, you know, these little things you pick up on the more and more you look at this, like, you know, this spoiler that is very cleverly integrated there. It doesn't jump out at you, but it's very nice. And I mean, even those taillights, you can see there's a edge to them. You can see, that kind of, you know, pokes out there, a little more three-dimensional, and I love that. To me, it harkens back to the fins in a way that won't, you know, snag your shirt like, you know, fins from a 50s Cadillac would. I love that they're kind of, you know, playing off that heritage a little bit. And I think it's a really unique look that you don't see copied elsewhere in the car industry. There's so many vehicles these days that have very similar looking light bars and, you know, stuff that's a little unoriginal, but this is really just something that you don't see elsewhere at all. And I think Cadillac did a great job with styling this vehicle. But anyway, so that's my tour here. Let me know your questions, any thoughts you have in the comments below, and stay tuned and subscribe, of course, for a review on this vehicle once it is out on the road and ready to be sold. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.